Buy yourself a real family next time, Uncle Connor, my nephew said at my brother's wedding. Everyone laughed and my parents defended him. I stayed silent. 2 days later, they realized what happens when the family wallet finally closes. Hey, Reddit! My family thought I was the boring brother with a wallet, not a person. I kept bailing them out for years. No thanks, no respect. Then one wedding joke changed everything. Before I get into it, let me start from the beginning. My name's Connor. I'm the oldest son in the family, but you wouldn't know it if you saw how things actually work. My younger brother Kyle was always the golden one. Got the easy smile from dad, the so proud of you posts from mom, the birthday speeches, the hugs. Me? I got phone calls when something broke, when bills showed up, when a roof leaked, when somebody's tuition didn't clear on time. Nobody calls to ask how my week is. They call when something needs paying. Kyle was the dreamer. That's what mom always said. The one who played guitar badly at barbecues, but everyone clapped anyway. He was laid back, which was just a polite way of saying irresponsible. Meanwhile, I was the one who moved out early, worked 2 jobs, saved up, and built a life that didn't involve asking anyone for anything. By 30, I had a steady job in IT consulting, a small condo, no debt, a reliable car. Nothing flashy, nothing crazy, but stable. Then there's Bruce, Kyle's kid, 19, in college, living in some shiny apartment near campus because the dorms were too small. Apartment's in my name because his credit is garbage, and Kyle's isn't much better. I co-signed, paid the deposit, even covered some furniture because Kyle said he was tapped out from wedding expenses. Yeah, the wedding. Kyle's big day. Second marriage, big venue by the lake, string lights, photo booth, the works. His fiancée Megan was nice enough but made it clear early on she wanted the dream wedding she saw online, not the budget version. My parents backed them up. They deserve it, Mom said. It's their fresh start. About 2 months before the wedding, Kyle called me. Hey man, he started, sounding too cheerful. Listen, we ran into a small issue with the DJ deposit. Could you spot it? Just until things settle after the wedding? How much? I asked. 800, he said quickly, like if he said it fast enough it would sound smaller. I sighed. Fine. Send me the invoice. Thanks, man. Seriously, I'll get you back once we're through this crazy stretch. We both knew that meant never. Couple days later, it was the photographer. Then the venue down payment. Same story each time. He'd pay me back once things calmed down. I paid anyway. That's kind of been my role. The quiet helper. The guy who covers the bill so mom doesn't cry, so dad doesn't get mad, so Kyle doesn't look like the mess he actually is. Like when the water heater burst at my parents' house 2 winters ago. Guess who wrote the check? I don't bring it up because if I do, I'm keeping score. I learned that years ago. One time I mentioned helping with Bruce's first semester fees. Kyle got defensive. You gonna hold that over my head forever? He snapped. Family helps family. Right. Family helps family. Some more than others, apparently. Bruce picked up on the family tone early. Smart kid, but with Kyle's ego. Makes little comments sometimes. Like when I helped him move into the apartment, carrying a mattress up 3 flights of stairs, sweating through my shirt, and he joked to his girlfriend, "Guess money can't buy you a real family, huh?" She laughed. He laughed. Even Kyle smirked. I didn't. That's how it always went. I'd show up, help, pay, whatever. Someone would crack a joke about how I work too much, live alone, don't come around enough. Everyone would chuckle like it was harmless. Once, after I fixed Mom's car battery, she hugged Kyle for calling Connor to handle it, like he did anything. He just grinned, soaking up the credit. I stood there holding the receipt. So when the wedding invites went out, I figured fine. I'll go. Do my part, bring a gift, wear the suit, keep things peaceful. I even paid for the string lights Megan wanted when the decorator invoice came in higher than expected. Nobody thanked me. Not directly. Mom called once during planning, not to ask how I was, just to say, like, Kyle's stressed. Try to be supportive, okay? That was it. That's all I was to them. A support beam holding up a house where everyone else gets to laugh and celebrate under the lights I paid for. But whatever. It was a wedding. I told myself I'd show up, sit at my table, clap at the toasts, eat the dry chicken, and drive home. No drama, no speeches from me, no bringing up money or old stuff. I wasn't expecting anything except maybe a quick thank you from Kyle in passing. Something small, something human. Instead, I got the wedding where everyone laughed. The wedding was on a Saturday afternoon at Lakeside Manor. This big place with white tents, a wooden deck, and a view of the water everyone kept taking pictures of. I got there early because Kyle texted me at 7 in the morning. Hey man, the florist is short on boutonnieres. Can you swing by their shop? It's on your way. I didn't argue. I just said, text me the address. When I showed up, the florist lady handed me a small box with 6 pinned flowers inside. You're Connor? Kyle said you'd handle the payment. Of course he did. I swiped my card, put the box in my car, and drove over. At the venue, people were rushing everywhere. Megan was inside the bridal suite getting her hair done. Kyle was out back looking stressed, directing a couple of cousins on where to set up chairs. When I handed him the flowers, he just said, "Oh, good, you got them," like I'd picked up milk from the store. No thanks. The wedding planner, this lady named Denise, was waving a clipboard at someone about a missing payment for the photo booth. Kyle pointed at me. Connor's got it. He's handling that one. I hadn't agreed to handle anything, but the photo booth guy was standing right there waiting, so I pulled out the envelope with cash I'd brought for the DJ and split it. Kyle was already walking away, fixing his tie, acting like none of this was his problem. I kept moving. Chairs got set up. Kids ran around tossing flower petals from boxes they weren't supposed to open yet. The string lights along the deck flickered on as the sun started dipping. It actually looked nice once everything was in place. The ceremony went fine. Quick vows, some clapping, Megan crying, Kyle smiling like a man who thought the day was perfect. Then came the reception in the big tent. Round tables with white cloths, a buffet line along the side, a little stage for speeches. People eating, music playing, kids sneaking cupcakes before the cake cutting. The kind of wedding where things aren't fancy but feel busy and loud. Denise whispered to me at one point that the seating chart got messed up. 2 families doubled up at the same table. I grabbed a couple of extra chairs from the back room so no one sat on the floor. Nobody noticed who fixed it. That's how it always went. Then it was time for speeches. Kyle went first. Thanked everyone for coming. Made a joke about Megan being out of his league. People laughed. It was fine. Then Bruce walked up with the microphone. Hair slicked back, tie crooked, looking like he'd been waiting all day for this. Hey, everybody, he started grinning. I just want to say congrats to my dad and Megan. Big day, right? Beautiful wedding, beautiful people. Everyone clapped. He let it die down. And, he said, smirking now, let's give a round of applause to my Uncle Connor. You all know him. The guy who thinks paying for things gets him a seat at the table. People laughed right away. Too quick. Like they were ready for it. Bruce kept going. Seriously, man. You keep this whole party running. The DJ, the lights, the flowers. I mean, you're basically the wedding sponsor. Maybe next time you can buy yourself a family too. More laughter. Loud this time. My parents put hands over their mouths like that made it better. Kyle didn't stop him. Megan didn't either. A couple of cousins slapped the tables, laughing like it was the best joke of the night. Mom caught my eye for half a second and looked away. I didn't move, didn't say anything, just sat there while Bruce handed the mic back like he'd nailed a comedy set. I finished my plate, slow and steady. When dinner ended, I found Denise near the buffet. The DJ and photographer, I said. All paid up now? She nodded, confused. Yes, you're good. I walked out of the tent, past the tables, past the deck with the string lights I'd paid for. A couple of relatives by the drink station looked at me like they knew something was wrong, but didn't say a word. I got in my car and drove off. No one stopped me. No one followed. The road home was dark and empty. I wasn't raging or slamming the steering wheel. I was just clear on what needed to change. At a red light, I started listing accounts in my head. Rent, tuition, cards, transfers, everything I had my name on that didn't actually belong to me. By the time I pulled into my driveway, I knew this was the last time they'd ever laugh at my expense while living off me. Sunday morning, I made coffee, opened my laptop, and worked the list top to bottom. First was Bruce's apartment. Lease in my name, rent set to autopay on the 1st of every month. I pulled up the landlord's portal, found the contact number, and called. Hi, this is Connor Davis. The lease is in my name on Unit 3B for Bruce Davis. I'm terminating early. What's the legal process to do that? The landlord asked a few questions, pulled up the file. Technically, you're responsible until the lease term ends in August. If you want to terminate early, you can pay the break fee and 30 days notice. That's standard. Send me the paperwork, I said. I'll pay the fee today. He emailed the form while we were on the phone. I printed it, signed, scanned, sent it back. 10 minutes later, I got the payment link for the break fee. Paid it. Done. Lease ending in 30 days. Next was Bruce's tuition account. I had access because Kyle sent me the login when his aide got waitlisted, and they listed me as the sponsor at the time. Automatic payments set to pull from my checking account each semester. I opened the settings, canceled the next draft, and removed my card. Screen popped up with a warning. This action will pause current funding. Students may be notified. I clicked confirm. Then Kyle's credit card. 2 years back, he'd called about being between jobs and needing a card for gas and groceries. I added him as an authorized user on one of mine. Balance wasn't huge, but he never paid a dime on it. I called the bank. Remove the authorized user, I said. Effective immediately. The rep asked if the card was in his possession. He has the physical card, I said. But you can cut off access, right? Of course. He won't be able to make new charges after today. Perfect. Do it. Last was the transfer I sent my parents every month. Started small years ago, when Dad had back surgery and couldn't work for a while. Somehow it never stopped. Every 20-second like clockwork, a deposit went straight into their account. I scheduled the final one for this month. End date set. After that, nothing. I saved every confirmation email in a new folder labeled Family Accounts. Closed. Screenshots, PDFs, timestamps. Not for revenge, just for myself. Proof I didn't imagine all the money flowing out of my pockets into theirs. By the time I shut the laptop, my phone had already started buzzing. First text came from Kyle. What happened with the apartment? Bruce just got an email. I didn't answer. Then Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. Then Kyle again. We need to talk. Ignored that too. By noon, the messages changed tone. Connor, what are you doing? This isn't funny. You can't just pull out like this. Bruce needs school housing. Call me back now. I set my phone to do not disturb, grabbed my jacket, and went for a walk. It was cold out, sky low and gray, wind cutting across the sidewalks. I walked 3 miles without thinking much, just moving. I wasn't angry, not even satisfied, just lighter, like I'd been holding something heavy for so long, I forgot how it felt to set it down. When I got home, there were 12 missed calls, 3 voicemails. I didn't listen. That evening, Kyle tried a different number, some local area code I didn't recognize. Connor, he said as soon as I picked up, voice tight. Look, whatever point you're trying to make, you've made it. Bruce is freaking out. The landlord emailed him some termination notice. He thought it was a scam. What are you doing, man? Ending things I should have ended years ago, I said. You can't just pull support overnight. I can, I said. And I did. Here. He started saying something else, but I hung up and blocked the number. 2 days later, a text came from an unknown contact. Hey, this is Trent. I'm Bruce's roommate. Got your number from when you helped us move the couch in? Just letting you know Bruce kind of lost it when the notice got posted on the door today. Thought you should know. I stared at it for a second, then locked the screen. Not my problem anymore. That night, another blocked call. Probably Kyle again, maybe Mom. Didn't matter. Everything was changing now, and none of them controlled the switches anymore. Mom texted me on Saturday morning. Can you come by tomorrow afternoon? Just to talk. It's time we work this out like adults. I knew what talk meant. It meant they wanted to fix everything on their terms. It meant them talking and me paying. But I said yes. I wanted to hear what they thought they could say to make this right. When I pulled into the driveway Sunday afternoon, Kyle's car was already there. Not a surprise. Mom had framed it like just her and Dad wanted to talk, but Kyle never missed a chance to play the victim. I walked in. Mom hugged me like nothing was wrong. Dad sat in his recliner, arms crossed, watching. Kyle leaned against the wall, holding a folder, like he was about to make a PowerPoint presentation. Connor, Mom said softly. We're glad you came. I nodded. What's this about? Kyle jumped in before she could answer. This is about you pulling the rug out from under everyone without warning, he said. Bruce is stressed out of his mind. He's looking at student housing last minute. The apartment thing was extreme. I sat on the couch. You done? No, Kyle said, flipping open his folder. Here, look. He slid a paper across the coffee table. It was a printed list of expenses. Bruce's tuition, rent, even the honeymoon payments for him and Megan. I looked at it, then back at him. What's this supposed to be? This is what you just wrecked, he said, over one stupid joke at a wedding. I leaned back. So now it's a joke. That what you're calling it? Kyle's voice got louder. You embarrassed the whole family. People are asking why Bruce is moving out of his apartment mid-semester. Why our honeymoon hotel called asking for another card. You think that makes us look good? I didn't answer right away. Mom sat down across from me. Connor, honey, you've always been the strong one, she said. We know the joke was uncalled for. Bruce is young. He doesn't think before he talks. But family doesn't turn on each other over one bad moment. I looked at her. You laughed too. She froze for a second, then said, I didn't mean to. Dad finally spoke. This whole thing has gone too far. Whatever point you're trying to make, it's made. Now put things back the way they were. I pulled a folder from my bag and set it on the table. Kyle frowned like he didn't expect me to bring anything. These, I said, sliding papers out, are the payments I've covered the last 5 years. Bruce's rent deposits, his tuition for 4 semesters, the credit card bills Kyle charged just for emergencies, the transfer to your account every month since Dad's surgery. Mom stared at the papers. Dad shifted in his chair. You want to talk about family? I said. Let's talk about how much I kept this family floating while you laughed about me behind my back. Kyle crossed his arms. Nobody asked you to do all that. I looked straight at him. You did. Every single time. You called. You texted. You handed me invoices like I was the family bank. Mom sighed. Connor, you're overreacting. I shook my head. No, I'm done reacting. That's the point. Kyle slammed his folder shut. So what? You're cutting everybody off forever? You think that makes you the hero? I don't care about being the hero, I said. I care about not being the punchline. The room went quiet except for the clock on the wall ticking. Finally, Mom said, So this is it? You're walking away from your own family? I stood. I'm walking away from people who only call when they need money. Big difference. Kyle muttered something under his breath. I caught the words, always bitter. I stood, closed the folder, and set it on the table before heading for the door. Connor, Dad called after me. You think this is the right way to handle it? I didn't turn around. It's the only way I should have handled it years ago. Let them see the numbers in black and white. Let them realize how much of their lives was built on my bank account. Outside, the air was cold, wind pushing across the driveway. I got in my car and shut the door just as my phone buzzed. A text from Bruce. You did all this because your ego couldn't take a joke? Seriously? I blocked the number. By the time I pulled out of the neighborhood, Mom was calling. I let it ring. This wasn't a meeting. It was a wall they just hit for the first time, and it wasn't moving. 2 days after the so-called family meeting, a cousin I barely talked to posted something on Facebook. A picture from the wedding captioned, Some people can't handle a family joke without blowing up everything. Sad. No names. But the comments made it obvious. People asking what happened. Others hinting about hurt feelings and drama after the wedding. By evening, Megan's sister shared it too with her own comment. Imagine ruining a honeymoon because your pride got hurt. That was the start of it. I didn't reply. I didn't comment. But I screenshotted everything. The next morning at work, my coworker Jake stopped by my desk. Hey man, he said casually. Your brother came by here yesterday. Reception called security on him. I looked up from my laptop. What? Yeah, Jake said, lowering his voice. He was asking for you. Said it was family business, but when they told him you were in a client meeting, he got loud. Security asked him to leave. Whole lobby saw it. I sat back in my chair. Kyle had never shown up at my work before. He must have been desperate. By lunch, my phone had 3 missed calls from unknown numbers. I didn't call back. Then an email hit my inbox. Subject line, request to reinstate financial support. It was from the bursar's office at Bruce's college. They wanted to clarify recent interruptions to the student account and asked if I intended to continue sponsorship. I replied once, I will not be involved in future payments. Remove my contact from this account. No greeting, no explanation. 1 sentence. By late afternoon, another email came. This one from my credit card company. Someone had tried to open a store credit line using my name and partial information. It triggered a fraud alert. I called the bank immediately. Flag everything, I told them. Freeze applications until I confirm them myself. The rep asked if I wanted to file a fraud report. Yes, I said. Do it. I didn't need a detective to guess who was desperate enough to try something like that. That evening, I got a long voicemail from Mom. Her voice was shaky, like she'd been crying. Connor, this is going too far, she said. Families go through hard times. You don't walk away over one mistake. We love you. We just need to sit down and talk again. I deleted it without saving. The next day, Dad called from his office line. I didn't answer. He left a message saying, Connor, call me back. This isn't how we handle things. Your brother is under a lot of stress. Bruce is young. You're punishing everyone for nothing. For nothing. That was the phrase he used. I kept every voicemail, every text. By Thursday, someone in the extended family messaged me on LinkedIn, of all places. A cousin from out of state I hadn't seen in 10 years wrote, Hey, just checking in. Heard there was drama. Hope you and Kyle work it out. So the story was spreading. And I knew exactly how it was being told. Connor overreacted. Connor is bitter. Connor ruined everything over a joke. Nobody mentioning the rent, Tuition, credit cards, monthly transfers. Nobody mentioning the years of bills handled quietly. On Friday, Aunt Linda called. She's Dad's sister. We're not close, holidays only. She asked if we could meet for coffee. I've been hearing things, she said over the phone. I want to hear your side. Saturday morning, we met at a diner near her place. She ordered tea, I got black coffee. I'm gonna be honest, she said, stirring sugar into her cup. Your brother is telling everyone you lost it after the wedding, that you're cutting people off just to be cruel. I didn't say anything, she went on. But I saw that room when Bruce made his little speech. I saw who laughed. It wasn't right. I looked at her. Nobody said a word to me after. Not one person. She nodded slowly. They only call it betrayal when the free ride ends. I might let that sit for a second. She leaned in. They're panicking because it's money, Connor. It was always about money. Not family. Money. You stop paying, the whole thing falls apart. I didn't answer. She sat back. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying I get it. When we left, she hugged me. Said, take care of yourself. No lectures. No guilt trips. Sunday afternoon, I got a message from Kyle. You think you're teaching us some lesson? You're just making yourself look pathetic. I blocked the number. Monday morning, I changed my condo building's access code and requested new key fobs from the condo office. Not because I thought they'd show up, just because I didn't trust what they'd do next. That evening, I opened Facebook. Megan had posted wedding pictures. No captions this time, just photos. I scrolled through them. Every shot with me in it was cropped tight enough to cut me out completely. It didn't bother me. It just told me exactly how they wanted the story to look. It's true. For 2 weeks passed after Aunt Linda's diner talk. The calls slowed down. Kyle posted a long status about family sticking together through hard times that got dozens of likes from people who didn't know a thing about what actually happened. I ignored all of it. Instead, I built a new routine. I started going to the gym before work, something I hadn't done in years. At first, it was awkward, figuring out the equipment, feeling out of place. By the end of the first week, it felt normal. Nobody there knew me as the guy who paid everyone's bills. I was just another person on the treadmill at 6:30 in the morning. On Saturdays, I drove out to a storage lot 20 minutes away, where I kept an old 1985 Mustang I bought cheap last year. It barely ran when I got it. I hadn't touched it since before the wedding. Now I spent hours cleaning out the interior, checking wires, ordering parts online. The car didn't ask for anything but time, and I actually wanted to give it that. One weekend, I drove upstate to a small cabin rental. Just me. No schedule, no phone calls. I hiked in the mornings, cooked simple dinners at night, sat on the porch with a book. 3 days of quiet. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. But the cracks started showing soon enough. A friend from high school texted me out of nowhere. Dude, did your nephew drop out of school? My cousin goes there. Said he left mid-semester. I didn't reply. A day later, another message came from a coworker. Saw your brother at the gas station yesterday arguing with the cashier about his card declining. Looked rough. The next weekend, Aunt Linda texted me a picture of a flyer she saw at the local grocery store. Bruce was offering lawn care and odd jobs for cash. Handwritten number at the bottom. Looks like reality's setting in, she wrote. I just sent back, yeah. Then came the letter about the will. It arrived in a plain envelope from my parents' address. Inside was one page, typed, saying they were reviewing estate plans and wanted to remind me that family unity matters in these decisions. I laughed once. Out loud. The house they lived in? I paid off the second mortgage 5 years ago. Their car? I covered the down payment when Dad's credit didn't qualify. The vacation cabin they bragged about every summer. My name on the deed because they couldn't get financing a loan. They were threatening me with an inheritance made of things I already paid for. I didn't respond. Instead, I called a local community college and set up a small scholarship fund in my name for students going into skilled trades, mechanics, electricians, welders. Sent the first check the same week. No announcement, no photo op. Just paperwork done quietly. Meanwhile, Megan posted a long paragraph on Facebook about the importance of forgiveness in families. It didn't mention me by name, but everyone knew. The comments were full of relatives saying things like, life's too short for grudges and family over everything. I read it once, then closed the app for good. Deleted my profile the next morning. Since then, anything I heard about new posts came through other people. Aunt Linda called the day after. They're panicking, she said. Kyle told your mom they might have to sell the boat. He's blaming you. The boat? I asked. Yeah, she said. The one you paid half for. Of course. The following week, I went back to the cabin upstate. Booked 4 nights this time. Brought some tools for the Mustang, a box of parts I'd ordered online, and a stack of books I'd been meaning to read. On the third day, I drove into the nearest town for groceries. At the diner, the waitress recognized me from my last trip. Back again? She asked, pouring coffee. Yeah, I said. Figured I needed the break. She smiled. Peace and quiet's good for the soul. It was. Later that week, Aunt Linda texted again. Kyle called me asking for your address. I didn't give it. Thanks. He sounded desperate. He'll figure things out. Friday evening, I saw Megan at the grocery store parking lot. First time since the wedding. She waved like nothing was wrong. I nodded once and kept walking. At home, I made dinner, washed the dishes, and sat on the couch after a short run in the driveway. Smooth now. No stalling. It felt like my life for the first time in years was running the same way. Late September, I pulled into the garage. That's when I saw Bruce. Across the street, standing under the yellow glow of the streetlight, hands in his jacket pockets. Bruce. He wasn't pacing or yelling or holding his phone like the others had. He just stood there, shoulders slouched, staring at the ground. I set my food on the counter, watched from the window for a minute, then grabbed my jacket and went outside. The air was sharp, the kind that carried every sound. My footsteps on the sidewalk made him look up. Hey, he said quietly. I stopped a few feet away. You here to make another joke? His eyes dropped again. No, I wanted to talk. I crossed my arms. Talk then. He shifted his weight, looked older than 19 just then. I didn't get it before, he said finally. All the stuff you covered. The apartment, school, everything. I thought you did it because you wanted to, you know? Like it didn't cost you anything. I didn't answer. He kept going. When you pulled out, it all hit at once. Rent due, classes dropped, dad yelling, mom crying. I had to sell half my stuff just to make car insurance. He paused. I get it now. What you were doing all that time. The wind pushed leaves along the curb between us. I'm not here to ask for money, Bruce said. I just wanted to say, I get it. I studied him. The hoodie he wore looked thin. He'd lost weight. No car keys hanging from his belt loop anymore. I don't hate you for it, he added. I was mad before, yeah. Thought you were being petty. But now I see Dad never stepped up. Mom didn't either. It was always you. Still, I didn't say anything. He let out a breath. That joke at the wedding, I thought it was funny. Everybody laughed. Didn't realize what I was laughing at until everything disappeared. Another gust of wind shoved more leaves down the street. A dog barked somewhere in the distance. I'm trying to get things straight now, Bruce said. Got a job bussing tables, 2 weeks in. Crashing on a friend's couch while I save a deposit. School can wait until I can pay for it myself. I used to think family helps family meant you'd always pay. I get it now. It means we handle our own. I nodded once. That's all I came to say, he finished. I'm not here to make excuses. And I looked at him for a long moment. Handle your stuff, I said finally. That's all I ever wanted. He nodded back. Yeah. Neither of us moved for a few seconds. Then he turned, hands in his pockets again, and walked down the block. No handshake, no promise to stay in touch. When I got inside, my phone buzzed. Aunt Linda. He showed up, didn't he? Yeah. They'll keep testing the door. Door's locked. She sent back a thumbs up emoji. That night, I sat at my kitchen table eating takeout after a quick driveway run before I shut it down. No calls came from Kyle or Mom. No Facebook posts either. For the first time since the wedding, everything was quiet. The next morning, I opened the mailbox and found another letter from my parents. Short this time. One paragraph about how family ties matter, and everyone makes mistakes. No apology. No mention of the money. I tossed it in the trash with the grocery flyers. 2 weeks passed. Bruce didn't come back. Kyle didn't call. People told me Megan stopped posting speeches about forgiveness. Mom sent one text on my birthday that just said, "Hope you're well." I didn't reply. During those weeks, I finished the Mustang's brake job, drove it out on the highway for the first time. Smooth ride, no stalls, engine running clean. I booked another cabin trip for October. 4 nights this time, no phone service, no visitors. Before leaving, I checked my email. The bursar's office had finally removed my contact from Bruce's account. The landlord confirmed the apartment lease ended. The credit card company sent a zero balance statement with Kyle's name gone from the account. All of it closed. The night before the trip, Aunt Linda texted again. Your dad says things are tight now. He was hoping you'd reconsider. Not happening, I figured. Just passing the message. Appreciate it. She didn't push. Never did. The next morning, I packed the car, locked up the house, and drove north. The highway was empty, trees along the road starting to turn orange. No buzzing phone in the cup holder, No guilt letters waiting back home. Halfway to the cabin, I realized it had been a full month since the last time anyone yelled, begged, or threatened over money. The silence didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt like mine. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.